but I'm going to turn it over right now to our director, Ethan Sharygin, to talk about the Oregon Population Forecast Program.
Thanks very much, Charles. One thing Charles didn't mention, but which is good to note, is that we're kind of at just the start of the release season for the 2019 ACS. So this is the first look at the one-year data products. There are some another data products that are going to be coming out on October and then in December and January that will allow us to look at new research questions that aren't available in official published tables, and also to look at more areas of coverage for the state, because the one-year release that we have for that overview is for areas of 65,000 people or more. So our ability to talk about small areas in Oregon is somewhat constrained. But anyway, I'm very happy to be at the PRC with great colleagues, Huda and Charles, and excited to be in a state like Oregon, which is a demographic laboratory with a huge amount of population variety and geographic variety. And I'm sorry that we couldn't hold this meeting in person this year, but I do look forward to meeting and working with many of you in the future. So PRC has, for the past 50 years or maybe longer, produced long-run projections for the state. The projections run 50 years from when they were produced, meaning that on the website, you'll find projections through the year 2070. The primary purpose of doing these projections is to enable long-term land use planning, although the projections have immense value for planning other spheres, such as infrastructure, public health, economic development, and they're useful for research generally as well. Like the estimates program, the projections program also has a collaboration with the Census Bureau on issues related to state and national population projections, methodology issues, and measurement issues, and also to review the Census Bureau's national population projections. So this graph is just a high-level result from the current projection. Our estimates series are in that dashed line in a dark blue on an annual basis, with the census, which anchors our estimates each decade, in the dots, and our central projection in the red line. We have Oregon at 4 million people, passing 4 million people in 2015, and we're currently projecting Oregon to reach 5 million in the year 2038. Let's progress to the next slide. All right. So we project the population of areas in UGBs, just the total population, and in unincorporated balances of counties. Those projections are considered in decisions on when and whether to expand UGBs, the exception being the largest, the Portland metro area, where we collaborate with Metro, but they are ultimately responsible for the projection for that UGB. For counties, we have some additional details that we project, including age groups and sex, which can be used to project changes in the workforce, anticipate retirements, changes in the economy. A lot of the value of the projections is not just the total population, but in the characteristics that really enhance our understanding and anticipation of the future. Let's go next. The projections are released on a 4-year cycle. Each year, every county in the state gets an updated projection, and the UGBs within one of the 4 regions identified here are updated. So at present, you'll find we've published updated UGB level forecasts for all but the Region 4 counties here in blue, and they include the Central Oregon Coast and the Lower Willamette. Lane County was previously published with Region 2, but it also will get an update in this round of the cycle. Next. The methodology that we use varies depending on the time horizon and the size of the jurisdiction. For counties, we generally use a cohort component method, in which we forecast the components which can cause population to change. Population can only change if there's births, if there's deaths, and if there's migration. So we project each one of those components. And then when we've done that each year, we age forward each birth cohort. It's a benchmark method in demographic forecasting. It tends to produce highly sensible, readily interpreted, reliable projections with a good level of demographic detail. However, it doesn't perform always well for small areas. So we use an alternative method for areas with fewer than 8,000 people in one UGB where we may not be able to estimate rates. And the housing unit method that we use relates population size to the stock of housing units, the vacancy rate, and household size, plus the capacity of group quarters facilities, such as dormitories, nursing facilities, and prisons, among others. For the longer term projection, once we get past the 25 years, we made a decision to simplify by extrapolating the forecast growth rate for each of those jurisdictions. Let's go next. So the current cycle that we're in started in 2018 and ends in mid-2021. We're in the fourth round, that last round of the 2018 cycle. And here's just a stylized order of operations that we're undertaking to complete the last set of projections between now and the summer. We've collected UGB boundary updates, building activity in and outside the UGBs, birth and death data, and other data needed for the cohort component and housing unit methods. Then we will produce a new round of forecasts for all counties and a preliminary forecast for UGBs. And at that point, we will pause to collect feedback and input from jurisdictions and from our network of partners around the state. We will iterate the forecast, produce what we call then the proposed forecast, which will be a wider ranging public review, which includes our partners, but also will be hearings for the general public. And after that event, we will publish the final products. I think one of the strengths of the population forecast program in Oregon compared to some of the other programs, other forecast programs, as well as the way that other states do their forecasts, is that we really highly value engagement with the public and also with our network of data users and planners. Demography is really a wonderful science in that it relies both on good quantitative models, but also local knowledge. Which does bring me to mention, finally, as we're wrapping up, that PSU has a certificate program in applied demography. It's taught remotely, and it's open to degree and non-degree students. So I think it's a great chance to learn more about the field of demography from the perspective of applications and the data which you've heard about not just today, but in the other workshop sessions for the Census Bureau. So I've included a URL where you can register interest and receive an information packet, or you can also, of course, email us. Happy to talk about more about that. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Ethan. And I don't see any questions in the chat, but as most of you know, I'm always available to answer questions. I think if you registered for this session, I didn't put my email up on the screen, but you all have the email that I sent you. Well, actually, no, it came out from yeah, right. You have the email that I sent you on Monday with the login information, so you're always welcome to follow up with questions about any of the topics that we've discussed today. So thank you to Barbara LaFleur and Heidi Crawford from the Census Bureau for helping us host these meetings, and thanks to all the presenters and all the attendees. If there aren't any questions, we will wrap it up for today and a few minutes early. Thanks. Bye.